Honestly, boss, I'm so gassed to be here. My big money move, finally. My parents have been relying on me. My family have been relying on me. I can't wait to bring my friends to my first game. Yeah, you're done. You're out. You got a 5.7 rating on SofaScore in your first game. It's over for you. It was a training session. This transfer window has been double glazed. Big money moves, ongoing sagas, and Chelsea rebuilding their entire squad. That's just business as usual. But you know what else has become normal in the world of transfers? Pressure.
What pressure?
The moment a big transfer move is made, it seems like fan expectation blows through the roof before a ball has even been kicked. Whether it be Arsenal's source of goals in Viktor Gyökeres, Manchester United attempting to rebuild their crumbling football club, or Liverpool's record transfer of Florian Wirtz, players have got to bang immediately, like Jack Grealish, except his banging wasn't happening on the pitch. Football fans are more impatient than ever, so a major signing's doomed from the start. You lot stink. I actually don't know if I can bring myself to do this, fam. I said if the ranking kits video gets 6,000 likes, I'll wear the most requested kit. The top comment was an Everton shirt. I don't know if that's legal. I'm going to be following in the footsteps of Everton Nigerian greats like Joseph Yobo, Victor Anichebe. They even had a footballer called Adeniran once, actually, so maybe this makes sense. So for a video next week, I'll be wearing that. And if you guys love humiliating me, clearly you do, if this video gets 7,000 likes, I'll wear whatever the top comment is on this video, except we're not doing United and Everton. We're not doing rivals. Just give me a shit football kit you want me to wear. I'll hold it up like I'm a new signing on deadline day. Peter Odemwingie in the car park vibes. And speaking of signings, this transfer window has been absolutely mental. The sagas are crazy. Alexander Isak, will he move to Liverpool? Will he get a restraining order on Eddie Howe? Gianluigi Donnarumma potentially going to Manchester City, even though he's got the foot-eye coordination of a smoked haddock. This is going to be, by the way, a crazy campaign, guys. I don't know if you understand. The amount of new names, the amount of established names, the amount of teams that could go down, win the league. We're in for an absolute classic. And make sure you are sticking around for it. We're aiming for 800,000 subscribers. We've already hit 750k, which means you're unlocking a real-life football video of me testing out my knee coming soon. 800k, I'm getting a Liverpool tattoo, so make it happen. Now, one of those big money signings making his debut this weekend was Viktor Gyökeres. I'm hearing names like Viktor Gyökeres, okay? Because he wasn't. The reason he does his celebration, like, get me like this, he's covering his nose from that stinky performance. He made his debut, of course, as Arsenal faced off against Manchester United at Old Trafford. I think the most highly anticipated match of the first game week. And of course, a lot of eyes were on Viktor Gyökeres because he had an absolutely crazy goal scoring record for Sporting. And he really is tipped as the man to kind of come in and save Arsenal's attack, bring in the goals and fire them towards a title charge. But then if it was Football Manager, he would have dropped a 5.9 average rating. Fans on Twitter were merciless. They were not having it, bro. He was striking confidence into defenders. The streets will forget this performance. That Arsenal Fan TV video of them doing the celebration, they were just running away from the stench out of Old Trafford, bro. But I'm glad someone was doing some quick running, because I'm not gonna lie, at times, Viktor Gyökeres' sprinting ability was not quite there yet. And it's Gyökeres charging in behind. He runs like he's doing DV. Fam, I swear down. Like, he's got the backpack over the shoulder, the sleeping bags down by his hip. His highlights from the game for the first hour were not where you would want them to be. I'm not convinced he could catch Hugo Ekitike if he was riding a motorbike and Hugo was just running. Sporting were quick to comment on Arsenal's feed, suggesting there would be no refunds. And the first touch didn't quite seem there either, I'm not gonna lie to you. A reverse angle of him trying to cut in from the left-hand side onto his right foot was not doing the Swede any favors whatsoever. This might be the first 007 in less than 7 games. Like, before he even arrives there. Just give it to him now. And look, it's disrespectful to drop a performance like that in the number 14 shirt. A shirt number that belonged to Thierry Henry. He's absolutely devastated looking at the stat sheet for this one. And we'll talk about the stats as well. I'll have them on the screen here because some of them actually look like a typo. He really, unfortunately, was not able to get into the game at all. He didn't have a single shot on target. But in fairness to him, a lot of that was because Arsenal weren't very very good, generally speaking. In transition, they were absolutely horrible. They got outplayed. They got out XG'd. United could have had a penalty late on as well. The Gunners were playing like prime Stoke City on a cold, windy afternoon some random day in December. He got a 6.0 rating on his debut, did Viktor Gyökeres, according to SofaScore. And even with the eye test, really, he didn't pass. He just wasn't able to get involved. Again, a lot of that was, I think, due to a lack of service. I think Arsenal were poor, generally speaking, in midfield and in the final third. They were sloppy when they had opportunities to actually, again, on transition, actually make an attack happen. No shots on target indicates that he wasn't really able to get any service, or, of course, it indicates really awful positioning, not being where he needs to be. But given his goal-scoring record, even if those goals are against poor teams in Portugal, that doesn't indicate a lack of intelligence when it comes to putting himself in positions where he needs to score. The concern might be the lack of duels or the amount of duels lost, to be honest with you, given his physical nature. But again, the guy's as sharp as a rubber butter knife. He's barely had a preseason. It's game one. We gotta give him some time. Though he'll already be getting a little bit concerned when he realizes that the only service he's gonna get is Christian Norgard long throw-ins and Gabriel performing UFC pins on an opponent's goalkeeper.
He may have actually picked the wrong club.
Let's be honest though, Premier League fans don't really care about that anymore. They're willing to jump on anybody as soon as it's full time. We're talking 001 from the moment the referee blows his whistle. Then it's 002 the next weekend. That picture of Jadon Sancho from Sky Sports Germany has done irreparable damage to the football Twitter community. And then we talk about another man that made his debut during this game. Because for the likes of Matheus Cunha, who I thought was pretty impressive, and Brian Mbeumo, who was there, Benjamin Sesko realistically was the man that everyone was actually looking out for, because he's a number 9. He's the flashy one. He's the goal scorer. And we've already seen Cunha perform for Wolves and Mbeumo perform for Brentford in the league before. Bruno Fernandes was excited, breaking free from the shackles of having to play in Rasmus Højlund every week. But honestly, Benjamin was probably the worst striker that I'd seen in the Prem since Viktor Gyökeres about 15 minutes beforehand.
Have shit and have shit. Guys, wake the fuck up.
Football fans were getting at Benjamin as well, even though he really only made a 20-minute cameo, and he wasn't even the worst person in that cameo. Manuel Ugarte, pack your bag, sunshine.
It's time to go!
Their combined entrance and cameo for this game, we need to have some words. Newcastle somehow got the best deal out of the striker scenario, and they don't even have a striker right now. Because both Sesko and Gyökeres distracted on the halfway line, as the rest of Arsenal and Manchester United squads were playing around them.
Have shit and have shit.
But let's be honest, right? I'm completing hate watchers. I don't even think I'm that toxic of a football fan. At the end of the day, I think these players have been treated harshly, as we'll get on to later on. But of all the players that football Twitter and football fans are hate watching at the moment, it's one of my own. Florian Wirtz, of course, for over £100 million, joined Liverpool this summer. And of course, with that massive price tag, all eyes are on him. And of course, he made his debut in English football in the Community Shield, where we were defeated by Crystal Palace. But honestly, I thought he was pretty good in that game. You know, even TNT Sports were trying to conduct a hate watch. Realistically, there was more than enough signs, more than enough creativity from him and good passes. He even got the assist 5 minutes in for Hugo Ekitike. It was enough to show me that he's gonna ball out. But then the game against Bournemouth, our first game of the season, 4-2 victory, whilst he was decent in the first half, there was a bit of a fall off maybe in the second 45, and fans online were loving it. Kai Havertz is maybe the most offensive slander name that I've heard. And that's saying something, because some of the other ones for Florian Wirtz are questionable. They're calling my boy Lil Uzi Wirtz, bro. I can't do this. I had him in my fantasy football team, and given the score that he achieved on FPL, listen, Florian, we need to have a conversation. Yeah, I'm bottom of my friend's league, and I feel like you are partly to blame. Not helped by the fact that he was immediately outperformed in just a 15-minute cameo by Beef Jerky over here playing for Manchester City. People were saying that Mason Mount unironically was the better number 7 this week. I can't have this. He was substituted off and Liverpool took the lead. That's an instant impact. No, I want it to be known, right, that Florian Wirtz is gonna bang. Again, not like Jack Grealish. I mean, maybe, I hope so, but like, I mean, as in, from a footballing perspective, yeah, this kid is fucking amazing. I want it to be known I am on the side of the fence, yeah. I'm on the right side of history. Florian Wirtz is gonna be amazing. He's an incredible footballer. He was good against Crystal Palace, as good as he needed to be given it was his first ever game for Liverpool in a professional environment. Was Bournemouth that good? No, not really. It wasn't that good. But every footballer doesn't play that well. Mo Salah was shit. So Mo Salah was worse than Florian Wirtz was against Bournemouth. He just got a goal at the end of it. Unfortunately, people are always going to look at his price tag, and that's fair. We paid an incredible amount of money for him, and I think it's going to be hard for him to justify that to all football fans unless he gets player of the season in his first few seasons, or he has a career like Kevin De Bruyne, which for what it's worth, I genuinely think the potential is there for him to have. And again, he was solid against Crystal Palace. His link-up play with Gyökeres was great against, against Bournemouth, but he had a poor half an hour in the second half, and that's really what football fans, especially on social media, are attached to. And that's the main problem. And I'm not just gonna, by the way, because I've made arguments here for Florian Wirtz in comparison to the others, I'm gonna back up the others here as well. Benjamin Sesko had 20 minutes, guys. How can you judge anybody in that time frame? Even Viktor Gyökeres, it's game one. He's not match sharp fully. The guy's gonna get better. These are all great footballers. Like, that's why I'm so excited to see them all in the Prem. Florian Wirtz is fucking a world beater, potentially. Reinders for Man City is unbelievable. Viktor Gyökeres, goal machine, internationally, continentally, and in Portugal. Will he have the same impact for Arsenal? We don't know, but I love the journey. Benjamin Sesko, exciting young attacker as well. And Burmo and Cunha will be good for Manchester United realistically, or should be. And then you've got Gyökeres, who nobody can even complain about because he has actually been amazing. Alexander Isak is depressed watching on his dodgy Fire Stick, knowing that could have been him banging in goals instead of Ekitike. He got a goal instantly in the Community Shield, then man of the match against Bournemouth. Personally, I feel like Antoine Semenyo should have been man of the match in that game because of the fact that he scored a brace and because of the actual context of being racially abused earlier on in the game, and then still putting in that performance just because he was on the losing side doesn't mean that he performed any worse. But either way, regardless of that, Gyökeres was our best player. I think I thought Szoboszlai was really good as well, but I think Ekitike was our best player. He's come in the long sleeve, Adidas stripes looking like prime Fernando Torres, bro. But even with him, we're seeing slander names like HS TikToky, bro. A lot of people, when it comes to social media, right, are not actually expecting Florian Wirtz to get 6 assists in his first 2 games. They're not expecting Gyökeres to get a hat-trick against Manchester United, or Sesko to come off the bench 20 minutes into his first game and he landed in Manchester Airport 25 minutes ago and get a goal against Arsenal. I do realise that. I am the same. I wanted Viktor Gyökeres to get a 4.8 rating on SofaScore because I wanted the chance to bang a tweet off it. I wanted the chance to have a little laugh and a joke and banter Arsenal fans about it. That's how football is. That's kind of how football should be. We've just been given a new vessel in social media to achieve it. And I'm mature enough to accept that. I don't even believe Gyökeres is going to be a failure. A little part of me does want him to be, just for a little bit, just so I can annoy Arsenal fans about it. But I do think there is actually at least decent minority, maybe even majority, and a decent chunk of actual UK footballing media that do genuinely think like this. There are people who look at a guy like Florian Wirtz and go, right, preconceived, he's come from the Bundesliga, it's an easier league, there's more intensity now in the Prem, he's gonna fail. He wasn't that great against Bournemouth, so now he's shit. Like, I'm genuinely seeing agendas already, and I'm just here to tell you guys, calm down. We should have patience for these guys, especially younger players. There were even PSG fans that were saying Gyökeres was gonna be a failure at Liverpool, which he may still be, by the way. It's literally game 2. They were saying that he was gonna be a failure because of the fact that he didn't perform at PSG. Bro was like 12 at PSG, behind Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi in the pecking order. Even if he did get a decent amount of game time to prove himself, he was still 19. Not all 19-year-olds are able to perform to the degree they need to, or overcome the pressure required at a football club like PSG. Even that alone, as an opinion, there's so much judgment in football now amongst new signings. There's no evaluation for a bedding in period. Some of the best footballers in the Prem were not good when they first joined. Back, I'm talking ages ago, before I was still a little baked bean, yeah? Thierry Henry was not that good when he first joined Arsenal. He grew into the role and then became a footballing icon and Arsenal legend. Kevin De Bruyne and Mo Salah needed a flop signing before they could then come back better than ever and become some of the best players the Prem's ever seen. Even if we're just talking about players who started a little bit slowly and then stayed at the same club and, you know, some patience saw them, you know, flourish and develop. More recently, but looking at someone like Moises Caicedo, who people were questioning because of the massive money, and rightfully, I guess, it was a lot of money for Caicedo. He turned down Liverpool, there was loads of drama, he wasn't incredible in his first season, but now he's probably the best DM in the league, if we're being real. Rodri, there wasn't a huge amount of fuss about Rodri when, you know, Man City first brought him in from Atletico Madrid, or no, it was Valencia actually, and then he flourished into becoming a Ballon d'Or winner. And I know they're different positions, so ultimately they are going to get different treatment. You know, the flashy attackers, wingers, creative midfielders that are supposed to get goal contributions, everyone's going to look at them and go, you didn't score, you're a failure. But I'm just here to tell you guys, whilst, yeah, it's funny, I will continue to crack jokes about it, it's great. For the guys that aren't taking it seriously, funny, amazing. But some of the pressure these guys are facing now is insurmountable because of social media and the UK football media as a whole. Journalists, you know, will be writing about, if Gyökeres doesn't score in his first 3 games, there will be articles about how he could be a flop already. That's absolutely insane, especially considering the other side of the fence, which is players that start off quickly and then end up flopping further down the line. Like a Darwin Núñez, for example. He scored in his first game in the Community Shield. He looked pretty good at the start of his Premier League career with that flick goal against Fulham. In the end, wasn't the goal scorer that Liverpool needed. He still had some clutch moments, and I still love him, don't get it twisted, but he wasn't the £85 million man, the man that was going to rake in 25 goals a season for Liverpool, or really someone we could rely on in big moments or big games. The sample size of 2, 3, 4, 5, even 10 matches is not enough to decide whether a player is going to be a success or not. Whether it be Gyökeres, whether it be Sesko, let's give these guys a little bit of time before we seriously judge them. Jokingly judge them as much as you like, but seriously judging them, we're going too soon. And as a test, right, I'm actually going to ask you to judge them, technically speaking, but it's for an experiment, I promise. How many goals are Gyökeres, Sesko, and also Ekitike going to score this season? I'm trying to see something here. I want to see what you guys, based on what you've seen so far, all your knowledge, preferably your knowledge of the players and, you know, the clubs they're playing for, actual scouting rather than just they weren't very good against Manchester United. I want to know what you guys think about them. Let's test everyone's ball knowledge, and we'll come back to this at the end of the season, and I'll do a giveaway reserved for people that get all 3 of them right. That, though, is going to wrap up today's video, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course, subscribe if you are new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @officialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.